7 strong innings from Jordan Zimmerman. Excellent defense all over the diamond, and 3 big flies to secure a 5-1 win over the Marlins. Today, the resurgent Steven Strasburg looks for another strong start, while the offense aims to bite the hand that feeds them and secure a 4th straight series win.
Another beautiful baseball day here in our nation's capital. They're coming down Half Street to watch the Marlins and the Nats. And yeah, that's the big thing as Danny and Bryce get together, talking about winning a 4th consecutive series and then taking this show on the road tonight for just 3 games. Bob and FP, welcome back. Now the Nats hope to make it a 6-3 homestand. And you said it the other night, it's all about winning series one after another.
Yeah, they're going for their 4th straight series win, and it all starts with Steven Strasburg today.
And fastball, fastball, fastball. We've been waiting for this guy to use that heater this much, FP, and at this stage of his career, he's doing it beautifully.
Yeah, and he has the confidence in throwing it. He threw it 72% of the time his last start. That's the highest percentage he's thrown the fastball since 2013, where he went above it just a few times. So he's getting confidence in it. He's seeing swings and misses with it, and the more he throws it, the more it sets up his curveball and his changeup. So what he's done lately has just been amazing his last 7 starts.
Yeah, first 10, not that great, high ERA. Look at that, a difference of 5 runs a game in his ERA. It's 5-1, 50 strikeouts, and nobody hitting much against him at all. Speaking of hitting, the Nats pitchers now know if they can just limit the opposition to 2 or 3 runs a game, they've got a great chance to win.
Well, and they know they're playing teams they should beat, and they know they're facing pitchers that they should get hits against and score some runs against. So now the pitchers are out there, the Nats pitchers, not thinking they have to be perfect.
Don't look now. Ryan Zimmerman, one of the best RBI men in the game in the month of August. He has driven in 24 runs, tied for the National League lead. He has RBIs in 6 straight, 11 total over that time in just 87 games, 59 RBIs, 12 home runs. And on a day when the Virginia Cavaliers are here celebrating their championship, they're pretty proud of number 11.
To you by PNC Bank for the Achiever in you, and by USAA, proudly serving the needs of the military community for over 90 years. Cloudy morning. Sun's been coming out a bit. A little overcast overhead right now. But a good day for baseball. 82 degrees. Steven Strasburg taking the mound. Humidity up a little bit at 54%. So get a good wood on the ball today, and it could go a long, long way. But Strasburg's been tough to hit lately. These are the guys that have to deal with him. Justin Bour, 17 career games against the Nats now, and he's hitting .326 with 3 homers and 9 RBIs. He's in the number 4 spot. They bumped Derek Dietrich down 1 spot to number 5, and then you've got to keep D. Gordon off base if you can. The key for Strasburg or any pitcher facing Miami these days.
I see the arsenal for Steven Strasburg. Fastball is averaging 95 this year. And like I just said, last start, fastball 72% of the time. It's the highest percentage he's had since 2013. Curveball 20% last start, changeup just 8%. So the renewed confidence in his fastball with health, mechanics, and just seeing guys that are being dominated by it has helped him to throw it much more. So the defense for the Nats: Worth, Taylor, Harper the outfield, Desmond Rendon left side, Espinosa, Zimmerman right side, and Wilson Ramos doing the catching.
Hey, good to see Michael A. back out there. Headed at bat last night, so back in the field for the first time since he and that center field padding had a pretty rough meeting the other night. That puts Bryce Harper back in right and Jason Worth back over to left. 31-year veteran, the crew chief Dale Scott has the plate. C.B. Buckner, Lance Barrett, Dan Isanya, first, second, and third. Finale of the series. The Nats are 2 over 500. It's a 5-3 homestand, and they're in the top of the second. Red Sox at New York. No score against the Mets. D. Gordon in the series, 3 for 8. 94. You like it to start the game like that at 137. Gordon at .333, 1 point ahead of Bryce Harper in the batting race. He's going to lay down a bunt. Picked up by Rendon. He did all he could, but D. Gordon's just too fast. So Gordon in this series now 4 for 9.
This is a Brett Butler effect on D. Gordon right here. I mean, that's just perfect. Anthony Rendon for a second thinking about letting it go foul, but he really had no time to do so. Watch the ball kind of stay true and actually come back a little bit. So Rendon had to field it. D. Gordon could fly. That was beautiful. He should do that once a game.
Yeah, and that's how you can win a batting title, with that kind of blazing speed. Here's Ichiro in the number 2 spot. Nats have pitched him well here in the first 2 games. But he jacks one to right. That's not where Lobaton was asking for the ball. He wanted to go outside edge. Bryce throws it in on a hop. And suddenly the Marlins have second and third. Nobody out. So Ichiro in the series now with that hit, 2 for 9.
So he's setting up away, pitch him away, play him away. That's what they've been doing with D. Gordon and Ichiro the whole series. That one kind of pulled to the inside of the plate. Ichiro being very aggressive. And the Marlins in business here in the top of the first. Second and third, nobody out.
Happening quickly, and now it's Martin Prado. Six for 27 career against Steven Strasburg.
Yeah, now, I mean, you don't have a chance to settle into this game. Just a couple of pitches. You're in a high-stress situation. You got to go to your A+ stuff right out of the gate.
Two and 0. So 17 previous starts, not a lot of first inning runs. Just a time of the year when you just can't afford to fall behind early on a regular basis. 2-0 pitch. Got the corner, Dale Scott with the strike call, 2-1.
That little run back to it. Good frame, gets a call.
That ball popped up right side. Ryan Zimmerman back to grab it. He'll get rid of it in a hurry to get it to Ramos so that D. Gordon can see that ball coming in.
Boy, I thought Martin Prado was going to do a Reggie Jackson and stick his hip into that throw from Ryan Zimmerman. He was standing right in the baseline. He didn't run at all. He was about 5 steps out of the batter's box, and Zimmerman's throw went right by him. And maybe I saw it wrong from up here, but watch Prado and watch the throw. He had to get out of the way. It was almost right at him. What if he just stands there and lets it hit him? Does he have to get out of the way of that? I don't think he does.
He'd already been retired with the ball being caught. That would be an interesting call, and I don't know the answer.
I don't either.
You know, ball in play, it's kind of like anything goes, right? But he was already out. So low and inside goes Strasburg to Justin Bour. Huge first out, considering Prado had 19 hits in his last 11 games at Nationals Park. Time given. Bour career against Strasburg. 3 for 8, couple of RBIs, 2 walks.
Boy, I'm racking my brain right now. I think there's a play in Cleveland a few years back that decided the baseball game on a ground ball to first, and Kipnis was the hitter. And he was running to first base, and the throw went home from Adam LaRoche, and Kipnis was inside the baseline, and it altered Adam LaRoche's throw. I remember calling Ed Montague after the game and asking. He said they never looked at anything like that. The batter runner blocking the throw from first base to home, and they would all address it.
1 ball, 1 strike to Justin Bour. Started his hands. They do appeal, and Dan Isanya says no swing. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Did he go? Yeah. Huh.
Big guy with power, but you can strike him out. He has fanned 68 times this year in 288 at bats. 2-1 pitch. So he got 96 by him a little while ago, and that was mid-90s at 95. And the fastball capability Strasburg's been showing lately coming into play here.
95, right down Broadway, and he was late.
(2-2), and Bour hits it a long way out of here. Right under the upper deck, and Miami has 3 runs in the first inning. That's his 2nd homer of the series. And evidently when this big guy hits him, they go a long, long way.
Putting on a show for the family. Well, that's trap setting 101. He was late on the 95, and the pitch is in the same spot, the same velocity. So, I mean, maybe just a little bit higher, but you can't blame Wilson Ramos and Steven Strasburg for thinking we're going to blow it by him when they just did the previous pitch. He started his swing a little earlier, caught it out front, and knew he hit it at time.
14th of the year, 45 RBIs for the Virginia native, Justin Bour. And just like that, the Marlins have a big number on the board. Here's the left fielder, Derek Dietrich. Strasburg gives up his 10th homer of the year in just over 87 innings. Marlins came to town with 91 home runs, and now they've hit 5 in this series.
They call that setting a trap in baseball, where you're late on one pitch and then you cheat a little bit, start earlier, and catch the same pitch out front. So the pitch before, he definitely set a trap.
You know, because as fans, we're sitting there saying, okay, don't try to trick him with something off speed and do him a favor. Throw him the fastball.
Right, he did.
And the hitter responded.
Almost the same spot.
1-2 pitch with 1 out. Upstairs to strike him out. 2 down. Marcell Ozuna is next. On the good news side of this, Brad Hand career has a 7.71 ERA against the Nats and has never beaten our ball club. He's made some adjustments lately that FP will talk about because he's done some starting and some relieving this year. Ozuna 2 for 8, hit a home run the other night, and he pops this one back. And right in front of the screen, Wilson Ramos. Just enough spin to bring it back. Marlins get 3. Now the Nats have to get busy. Home game of August. Nats will be back home on Thursday against Atlanta. Wilson Ramos on a 7-game hitting streak. 9 hits, 3 homers, 2 walks, 5 runs. Trying to get that batting average up over 240 and take it from there. The Nats hitting 249 as a team, 11th in the league, 5th in runs, 4th in homers. And here's Brad Hand, who this year has made just 8 starts, 24 other appearances out of the bullpen.
Yeah, fastball 92, slider 84, curveball 79, change 86. He's had a great August. 2.90 ERA in August in 5 starts. And he's only averaging 1.45 walks per 9. So he's a guy that shuffled between the bullpen and a starting pitching role. And now he's kind of streamlined his delivery and just going from the stretch. He was having trouble out of the windup because as a reliever, he'd come in out of the stretch. So they said ditch the windup and start out of the stretch. So here you go.
Strike call to Jason Worth. Jason in this series 1 for 7 with a walk. Four for 15 career against Brad Hand, who's 0-5 against the Nats.
He's coming off a career start last time out against Pittsburgh. Career high 8 innings pitched, 5 strikeouts, no walks, 106 pitches, 72 of those for strikes.
Worth hitting the ball well to left. Dietrich, though, has it in front of the track.
Set the defense for the Marlins. Dietrich, Ozuna, Suzuki, the outfield. Echeverria, Prado, left side. Gordon Bohr, right side. And Jeff Mathis doing the catching today. Good receiver, good game caller, control a little bit. Feel like he's going to be a good big league manager someday when he's done. Knows the game.
Agreed. There's Anthony Rendon. Looks like Dale Scott establishing that outside edge against right-handed batters for strikes. Strasburg got a pitch or 2 out there. Rendon in this series 3 for 8 with an RBI. And with a guy like Dale Scott behind the plate, 31st year in the big leagues, you kind of know if he starts there, it'll be consistent all day. Long-time American League umpire before they unified the leagues. Two balls, one strike. And Rendon mindful of that outside corner. Off to the right side.
Some lows never stop improving. Anthony Rendon, last 14 games. Check out the last 7, though. 423 on base percentage, runs, RBI. Starting to lock in.
And that's on 11 hits with 5 walks. 5 for 11 career against Hand with 3 RBIs. 2-2 pitch. Brad Hand win with the breaking ball down and in. On the Nissan pitch track, everything down to the hot Anthony Rendon. Swing and a miss, 2 outs.
It just almost looks like, seeing Hand out of the stretch, that the ball's getting on hitters quick. That he's kind of shortened his arm motion. You know, when a guy's in the windup, you have plenty of time to set your swing, get ready, get back. But in a sense, you feel like he's kind of quick pitching out of the stretch.
Yeah, it's definitely a different look as far as the timing goes, huh?
Yeah.
Well, they pitched Bryce well. They've walked him a couple of times. 1 for 6 in this series so far. Shift on, not as dramatic as some ball clubs. Echeverria, the shortstop, still on the left field side of second base, but up the middle. Prado kind of cutting the left side of the infield dirt in half. Target away. It looked like a strike for a while to Bryce. And it's 0-2. Noah Syndergaard has an RBI hit, and the Mets lead Wade Miley, and the Red Sox 1-0. Jeff Mathis behind the plate for the Marlins today, veteran receiver. It's STG inside the numbers. First of all, start at the bottom line. 461 on base percentage this month. Bryce at 458 for the season. So 440 plus each month of the season. Guys doing it going all the way back to the great Rogers Hornsby. Not easy to do all season long. Off speed, a breaking ball, and Bryce Harper strikes out. Nats go 1-2-3. Rendon and Harper K's. Marlins off to a tough start for the Nats. Several innings. We invite you on the next homestand. Come on Saturday. The Nats and the Braves at 7:05. First 20,000 fans receive Nationals earbuds presented by T-Mobile. 202-675-NATS or log on to nationals.com to purchase your tickets. Gio in St. Louis tomorrow against John Lackey. The Nats will see 3 ERAs in St. Louis. Lackey 2.92. Carlos Martinez 2.91, Michael Wacha 2.69. So there they are, the probables that Gio, Joe Ross, and Max Scherzer will face at Busch Stadium. Trying to push a bunt, Echeverria, and that's a base hit. 2 innings, 2 leadoff bunt base hits by Miami.
Yeah, Miami executing the short game well. Perfectly placed. Once it gets past Steven Strasburg, put it in your pocket.
That'll bring in Jeff Mathis, the catcher. So the Marlins are 4 for 7 to start this game. Mathis, a veteran receiver, knows how to handle a pitching staff, knows how to work with young pitchers. Not an offensive guy for the most part, hitting a .119 this year. 32 years of age, came into the season a .196 career hitter. But he's been in the big leagues for 8 years. Echeverria, he can run, doesn't run a lot, 7 for 9 this year. Marlins have the 3rd most steals in the league behind the Reds and the Diamondbacks. One.
Yeah, I think on that bunt, Steven Strasburg was expecting Ryan Zimmerman to come get that ball. But if Ryan Zimmerman comes and gets that, then Echeverria beats Strasburg to the bag easy. You know, as a hitter, you're just trying to get it past the pitcher, and once you do, usually good things happen.
Mathis will pop one up, and this one well back out of play. One of the few foul balls we ever see in this ballpark that goes above our eye level.
So watch Steven Strasburg kind of go over to it, then he looks right there. He looks at Ryan Zimmerman like, I thought you were going to get it. And if Ryan gets that, the only way he makes the out is fielding it and diving into the runner and tagging him, because he can't flip it to anybody once he goes toward the pitcher's mound to field it.
One ball, 2 strikes. Good lead by Echeverria. Mathis, swing and a miss. 1 out. Well, FP, we did a little research and found out about that play you and I were talking about. Any batter or runner who has just been put out, if he hinders or impedes any following play being made on a runner, he is out. So the key is Prado had already been retired and was not still on his way, say, on a ground ball. Like, I think that was the instance you had, right?
Right.
It was a ground ball. This was a pop-up.
So if it hits him on that throw from Zimmerman, he's out twice?
I'd say he's out, dead ball. Runners don't advance.
I got you. Good call.
That's right. Rule point 7.09. And thanks to our Masson colleague, Pete Kurzel, for filling us in.
I don't know if you intentionally move into it, the ball's dead, but if the throw just hits you where you are, was my question.
Yeah. And evidently, once you are put out, it is your job to get out of the way. So here's the pitcher Hand squaring around, taking a strike. And it's 0-1. Brad Hand 1 for 15 this year with 3 sacrifice bunts. He'll lay one down, and he'll move the runner. Strasburg to Espinosa. Sacrifice on the second out, goes 1-4. So we arrive at the 2 o'clock hour here in our nation's capital. And the Marlins kind of quieting this crowd down, shocking us a bit with that 3-run Justin Bour first inning home run. After a bunt hit by Gordon, a double by Ichiro. And now here comes D. Gordon again, who's having a fine series, 4 for 9. Batting average now at .335. Good pitch, had him locked up.
American Standard, who's hot, who's not? D. Gordon, last 2 seasons. And Bryce Harper likes playing the Marlins.
Yes, he does. Celebrate the season with the American Standard All-Star Sales Event. Visit MidAtlanticComfort.com for amazing rebate and financing opportunities. 0-1 to Gordon. He'll go out to left center, ball tailing back to Jason Worth. And Strasburg out of the inning. Nats down by 3. Ryan Zimmerman red hot. So's Desmond. So's Ramos. Tonight, he did it again. First time up, leading off the second.
Yeah, that was a big league bomb. Fastball up, drills it out. And his timing has been locked in since he's come off the DL. Check this one out. Go inside the numbers with STG. Runs bet in this month. A couple of J's in there. Encarnacion went deep his first at bat today again.
After going deep 3 times for 9 RBIs.
Yeah. And then Tulowitzki got buzzed right after him. He's got that wing thing. They call him Ed Wing because he holds up his right arm when he goes around on his trots. Maybe the Tigers are sick of seeing it.
Well, 4-0 Toronto. Blue Jays have overtaken the Yankees in the East over there. 1.5 lead.
One side would say make better pitches. The other side would say just run around the bases.
Zimmerman in this series, 2 for 7, a homer, 2 RBIs. So Ryan, since coming off the DL, hitting .260. The on-base percentage, thanks to 10 walks his last 11 games with 9 hits, is .350, and he's slugging .560. I know sometimes you talk about guys salvaging like an 0 for 3 into a 1 for 4 or a 1 for 4 into a 2 for 5. Ryan Zimmerman is salvaging a season right here before our very eyes. Hurt and hitting just over 200 when he got hurt, but coming back now with a vengeance. He has found his midseason form. Target in. Got a breaking ball. Sounded like it broke his bat, and D. Gordon is back to grab it. And Ian Desmond had a moment or two last night.
This was a far one. Curveball just sitting up there from Kohler. And I think that was 447.
Yeah, so you look at that pitch, and Ian Desmond supplied most of that power. He has 4 hits in this series and a pair of solo home runs. Another guy doing what Ryan Zimmerman's doing as far as salvaging a season with a big second half. He's at 309 his last 37 games. Yeah, 340 the last 2 weeks.
Hannah's done a nice job early in this game of keeping the ball on the bottom of the strike zone or below the bottom of the strike zone.
Good take by Ian Desmond on a ball close to the outside edge. That turns the count around in his favor.
That's one you don't want to swing at till you get to 2 strikes. I mean, you're 2-1, you're thinking all systems go. I mean, if you swing at this hitter, you're beating it right in the ground. And to my point about Ham keeping the ball down, he's done a nice job. I mean, that's the bottom of the zone. Ian Desmond didn't like it, but that's where he's been living here early.
Two balls, 2 strikes with 1 out. And Hand tried to go inside edge on him. Counts full. Nats looking for their first base runner. Close, and evidently the outside corner is there, but not the inside. And Ian Desmond is aboard. That's his 30th walk of the year.
Everything outside until this pitch, and let's see how close it was. I think the way Jeff Mathis caught that, he kind of took it out of the strike zone with his glove, and that's the difference in ball 4, strike 3 maybe.
Wilson Ramos. Well, the way the Nats have been operating their offense lately, this ball game 1 swing away from being close. Nats have hit 5 homers in the series, up to 134, 4th most in the league.
See, but you can't elevate that pitch. I
right.
mean, it's hard. I mean, you can, but it's hard. I mean, it's going down. It's the bottom of the zone.
I mean, they are really deep in left and in center with Dietrich and Ozuna. Target in, way inside. Three 3-0 Miami, bottom of the second, 1 on, 1 out. Second most in baseball with 13 games with 2 home runs or more. Now, if they can do that today against what Brad Hand's doing, that'll really be something. Ryan Zimmerman in the middle of that. Ian Desmond as well. Ramos 3 homers his last 7 games. You probably hit more home runs when you're just trying to string hits together. That's what the Nats need to do. Counts even, 2-2. And then Clint Robinson pops up off the bench and goes deep. What a good season he's had. First chance to play a whole season in the big leagues at the age of 30. Ramos late for 93. 2 outs. Brett Hand, 3rd strikeout. Time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag NatsCouchCam. You might see yourself in an upcoming telecast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Two outs. Danny Espinosa. Danny's had 7 plate appearances in the series, on base 3 times with a hit, a walk, actually 2 times. And then he helped push a runner with a sacrifice. High chopper, third base way foul.
I mean, it's 91 with tons of sink, and if you're seeing that much sink on television from the center field camera, imagine what those guys are seeing up there. I guess you try to work a count, get him tired, and maybe he'll elevate, and that's when you get him. But right now, there's nothing you can do but beat it into the ground, if you're lucky.
Yeah, isn't it kind of interesting that pitchers, starters, they always want to pitch off the full windup. This guy is thriving off the stretch now.
Yep.
As FP mentioned earlier, 24 appearances in the bullpen, comfortable off the stretch, even when the bases are empty. Everything simplified. Snap throw to first, and able to get back Ian Desmond. Snap tag by Bohr after the throw.
Ian Desmond, you saw him peeking in at at Jeff Mathis. Like, knock that off.
Well, we told you Mathis is back there for years and years because of his defensive abilities. He's a good catcher. 0-2. Nats need some 2-out noise here. Desmond with a lean going, and Espinosa expanding to stay alive. Well, last year, more games, fewer hits, and a lot fewer runs for Danny, who ended up hitting just .219 in 114 games last season. One ball, 2 strikes. Hand really slowing things down here. 1 out walk, then a strikeout. Espinosa swings and misses on a pitch diving down and in. 6 outs for Brett Hand, 4 of them strikeouts. He only had 51 in 77 innings coming in. So Justin Bour, that long home run, his 14th of the year, first inning with 1 out. And watch where the pitch is compared to where Wilson Ramos wanted it. He sets up inside. Look at Wilson reaching back for it. And that is right in the danger zone. And look where this baby goes. Bour knew he got it. And that's the blow of the game right now with the Marlins on top 3-0. Third inning coming up. Ichiro, Prado, and Bour, 2-3-4 for Miami. Ichiro got that inning set up after the leadoff bunt hit by Gordon with a double down the right field line. So Ichiro career now against Strasburg, 4 for 6. He's won 2 batting titles, 01 and 04 with Seattle. In 07 he hit .351 and didn't win a batting title. Magglio Ordonez hit .363. Amazing season. 8 times in the major leagues, 200 hits or more. 8 times. Inside the numbers. So after turning 27, look how many hits Pete Rose had on his way to almost 4,200, and Ichiro over 2,900. He's 76 away from 3,000 on this continent. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Strasburg jams him.
I think one thing people don't realize, a lot like Wade Boggs, Ichiro's got serious pop. If you watch him take batting practice, he launches balls in the upper deck all day. When you think of him during the game, obviously you think of a singles hitter, a guy that knows how to get hits. But he does have some pop.
To the right side. Danny Espinosa takes care of that. Third inning underway. Prado and Bour the next 2. By the way, a footnote on Ichiro, that 8 years with 200 hits, he also scored 100 runs in those seasons, and the only guy ever to do that other than him, Lou Gehrig. He's had 200 hits in the big leagues 10 times. So here's Martin Prado, who hit that pop-up to Ryan Zimmerman with 2 runners aboard first inning. Dugout keyed in on the starter right there. 17 pitches first inning, and then just 11.
He looks a little uncomfortable to me today for some reason. I'm trying to put a finger on it. It's not the 97, 98 that we've seen the last few times, and he's really taken a whole lot of time between pitches.
Danny Espinosa waiting for another. Drops it. Plenty of time. 2 outs. Head to the main team store the next time you're at Nationals Park. Buy your raffle tickets for a chance to win the 2015 Nats branded Harley Davidson presented by Geico. Raffle tickets just $5. All proceeds benefit the Nationals Dream Foundation. Purchase your raffle tickets now through September 5th. That's next Saturday at the main team store out in center field.
Last fastball was 93.
Goes off speed on the first one to Justin Bour, missing low.
He hasn't thrown anything below 95 the last 6 or 7 starts.
Mid-90s out of that one on the inside edge. Bour hit 1 homer in 39 games last year when he got his first taste of the big leagues. And if this one's fair, he's got a 2-home run day. It is to the right of the foul pole.
No, he's just country strong. No batting gloves. Bat looks like a toothpick in his hands. Probably sitting on the curveball, at least thinking about it since he hit the fastball out last time up. Just kind of gulps that one.
Mercedes-Benz giving us a look at that. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yeah, keep it away from that guy the way he's been pulling it. And Steven Strasburg gets his first 1-2-3 inning of the afternoon. Taylor, Strasburg, Worth straight ahead. Bottom of the 3rd inning, and Michael A. Taylor is back in the starting lineup. First at bat as a starter. He did come in last night for Clint Robinson, pinch hitting 8th inning, grounding out. It's just so great to see him back after that amazing collision he had with the center field wall.
Yeah, man. I mean, that looked like a season ender, didn't it?
It did.
I mean, and Michael said as much. It looked a lot worse on the video than it did with the damage that was done to himself. But yeah, that was, this place got quiet in a hurry.
Thursday night, yeah, he's established quite a following with our fans. Baseball fans love young, new, exciting talent.
And teammates love effort like that. And that's a one that even the other team will say, wow, that guy's fearless. He's not afraid of walls. He's not afraid of running into them.
And Taylor will line one to right. It's in front of Ichiro. And the Nats have their 2nd base runner of the day.
There goes the no-hitter. Michael Taylor doing a nice job of going the other way. Ichiro had a beat on it, decided to play it on the hop. The first hit of the day for the Nats. And let's see him run. How's that knee doing? Looks good to me.
Yeah. You know, after seeing that replay, too, I'm glad his neck and his head are okay, because that got a piece of that wall too. He went heavy with just about top to bottom, toe to head action on that one. Here's Strasburg looking for his 5th sacrifice bunt of the year. Lays down a beauty. Jeff Mathis. All he can do is throw it to D. Gordon. So maybe the road back starts with a base hit and then the pitcher moving a runner in a 3-0 game.
I feel like you're trying to get that momentum somehow. As a player, when you play uphill from behind on a consistent basis, it's just such a grind mentally. And not from behind like the 4th or 5th inning, but right out of the gate behind, where you don't even get into the flow of the game and you're already down by 3. It's almost like you spotted somebody 2-3 runs and you come out playing from behind. And when you're going good, you feel like it's 1-0 when you get to the clubhouse.
Jason Worth will step out and chat with an umpire. He might want Lance Barrett to move over to the other side with a left-hander pitching, but umpire hasn't moved yet. Jason will often ask for that. 1 on, 1 out, runners in scoring position. Worth with 22 RBIs. And you could hear it skip in to Jeff Mathis, ball 1. Number still holding as a leadoff guy. But the Marlins have pitched Jason well. A walk, 1 for 8 in this 3-game series. Hit the ball well first time. Sent Dietrich to the edge of the track and left.
I mean, as a hitter right now, you're seeing what he's doing. Second time around, everything's down, everything's away. When he's come in to right-handers, it's for effect. He hasn't thrown any strikes with his fastball in the inner half. So other than the fear of being hit by that, you don't have to respect the inside part of the plate off of Brad Hand right now, because he hasn't thrown any strikes in there. Everything's been down, everything's been away.
Now, D. Gordon ended up out of position on that pitch. He thought he might have some daylight for a play on Taylor, and then Hand went ahead and went home.
Where it gets real tricky is when the guy's throwing strikes inside and outside. Now I got to cover both, or I got to pick one. You really don't have to pick one if you're a Nationals hitter right now. Everything is away. Think up the middle the other way and try to get something up, but he's not really giving you a whole lot up there yet.
2 balls, 1 strike. Way outside. Hand has walked one man, Ian Desmond, today. As a rule, control number is not bad. 17 walks in nearly 80 innings. This is Jason Worth's count. A lot of werewolves in the ballpark today.
Yeah.
Howling for a hit.
I think it'd be cool if 40,000 people did that at once.
That would. Hey, by the way, hats off to the Nats staff, ground crew, everybody. They did a really nice job of hosting 80s night last night.
They did.
A lot of folks are talking about it today. Had a good time at the yard last night. The ball club played well. It was just one of those fun evenings. Well done, guys. 3-2 with 1 out. And a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to Miller time later in today's game. It's brought to you by Miller Lite. Scoreboard back to its 2015 look. Everything digital again. Hand taken forever here. Wouldn't be surprised if Worth gets time. He just got into a stretch on time, and here it comes. Jason Worth, left field. This one's well hit. See you later. Into the bullpen. He hit it well first time, and that one went about 30 feet farther. And the home run hitting Nats are right back in this game. Now some more people are howling.
Yeah, I think everybody should howl every time he hits. 5th home run of the year for Jason Worth, and more importantly, got this crowd into it at Nats Park. Livened the joint up a little bit and made it a 1-run ball game.
Three nothing turned into 3-2. Still only one out in the inning, and that was a productive out by Steven Strasburg. Here's Rendon, ball one away. For the Nationals, their 135th home run, and the 6th this weekend against Miami pitching. Now the Nats have hit 15 against the Marlins this year, so that's well beyond 10% of their home runs against one staff. Rendon rips it into left field, and the tying run is on base. And Anthony Rendon is 12 for his last 28, really coming alive.
Let's check out the home run again from Jason Worth. You see where Mathis is set up? And you see where the pitch kind of cuts to. It looked like he wanted that outside. It cut down the middle, and Jason Worth ready for action. Drills it in the Marlins bullpen. A little fist pump. And makes this a 1-run game.
191st of his career. So Jason and Ryan Zimmerman flirting with 200 shortly. Another $250 to the Children's National Health System, thanks to our Washington, D.C. Lexus dealers. Home runs for children. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection. 103. Then it probably went about 383. Here's Bryce Harper. Bryce hungry to do some damage in this series. Marlins haven't allowed him to drive in a run. Hands have Bryce pulling off some breaking balls here. The count's even 1-1.
That's all he threw him first time up, 4 of them.
Ninth in the league with 76 RBIs.
He can throw him until he hits it. I think that little thing that Jason and Bryce just did was a little shake and bake from Talladega Nights.
Bryce one home run on this homestand. It came in the first game a week ago Friday against Milwaukee. And Brad Hand just keeps flipping him hooks to get him out again. 5 strikeouts by Brad Hand. He's got Harper twice.
Yeah, the hard slider from Hand. This one 82, but you see the location. Everything's starting down the middle and breaking hard away from Bryce.
Well, let's see what he has for Ryan Zimmerman.
To a pull swing, so he's rolling his wrist. He's thinking, I'm going to pull this out of here, and the ball's on the other half.
Zimmerman jammed first time, pop up to the right side. Still 6 for 9 career against Brad Hand. Hot shot, 2 hops. Almost took Echeverria into left field with it. The Nats pick up 2 though on the Taylor hit and the Jason Worth homer, 5th of the year. So the Nats with another blast, number 135, making it a 1-run game. Worth gets the Nats close. Strasburg, a couple of shutdown innings on only one hit since that rough top of the first, so he's got to keep it going. Dietrich, Ozuna, Echeverria, 5, 6, 7 for Miami. '87. They dropped the changeup in there. Counts even 1-1. Struck out Dietrich, swinging first time. 41 pitches, 29 strikes, first 3 innings. That ball is launched. It's fair, it's upper deck, and Miami gets a run back in a hurry as Dietrich gets his second RBI of this series. Told you the humidity's up a bit today, and if you make contact, it's going.
It's a good home run trot.
Quick.
93 on the fastball right here, and Dietrich all over it. Belt tie right down the middle. Tough to turn on 97, 98. A little easier on 93. And something is different from Steven here today. I don't know what it is.
Marcell Ozuna fouls one off to the right. Well, the Marlins have slugged with the Nats in the series in terms of the home runs. Each team with 6.
Very good pitch.
Ozuna fouled out to Ramos right at the base of the screen first time. Three and 1. And Ozuna was in launch mode there on 95 upstairs. David Ortiz has hit his 28th homer of the year, and the Red Sox have 2 runs in the 6th inning, leading the Mets 2-1. Ozuna high in the air out to right center. Michael A. Taylor, glove used for shade to make that catch, 1 out. Moment ago, we had our troops standing. We were waving our caps and applauding them. It's our international troop recognition brought to you by DynCorp International. We serve today for a better tomorrow. Every day at the ballpark, and it never gets old. Adeiny Echeverria bunt base hit right side of the infield first time. Ball appeared to have some cutting action to the outer edge. Echeverria, right center. Second hit today, third hit of the series. Taylor will have to get it back in a hurry. Big round of the bag by the runner, and he's 2 for 2. Number 8 hitter, catcher Jeff Mathis. This one high in the air, right side. Ryan Zimmerman, might have been able to hear him call it like we did. 2 outs. Join the Nats in Miami September 11, 12, 13. It's a weekend. Take on the Marlins with a special Nationals Destinations travel package. It includes game tickets, hotel accommodations, a VIP ballpark tour, and more. Visit nationals.com/destinations for all the details and to hit that button to book your trip. After today, the Nats and the Marlins still have 7 games with each other. There's Brad Hand, sacrifice first time.
The last start, Steven Strasburg's fastball averaged 96.9 miles an hour. It's the fastest average all season for him. Before that, it was 96.6 in a start against the Braves here in D.C.
Today, what do you think? 94? 94 and a half?
Yeah, I'd say. That was 92. That's usually where his changeup's at when his fastball's maybe not that hard, but close, when his fastball's 97, 98.
Left side, base hit. Strasburg threw Brad Hand a breaking ball away, and the pitcher looked like a regulation hitter taking that thing the other way for his second hit of the year. Now you have to deal with D. Gordon.
Stayed back on the curveball, went the other way. Nice piece of hitting by the Marlins pitcher.
This inning just got a whole lot tougher. D. Gordon 1 for 2 with a bunt base hit. Fly ball to Jason Worth last time. So the Marlins have their second 3-hit inning of the day. Fastball, low 90s. 1-1. Not a whole lot of change this year. First, second, and third time through. Look out, Lenny Harris. One ball, 2 strikes. Gordon puts it in play right to the bag. Can Rendon go for the force, and that's the end of the inning. Marlins pick up a run on the Dietrich homer and lead 4-2. Desmond leads off.
in the playoff race, and if I see that they lost and it's a chance for us to gain a game, absolutely, I want that just as bad as I do any other win. So we saw it, and it's just a good opportunity for us to gain a game, and we went out and got it.
Clint's home run helped the Nats beat the Marlins 5-1 last night to tighten up the East a bit. That's our Coons.com sideline report. When you're talking Cars, you're talking Coons. Juan Uribe just drove in 2 runs for the Mets. And so they're back on top of the Red Sox in that game at Citi Field. 3-2, 6th inning. What the Nats have left. Right now they're in the 9th game of a 9-game homestand, but still more home games remaining. And just 5 against teams with 500 records or better. While the Nats are in St. Louis, the Mets will be hosting the Phillies. So this ball game becomes important, huge, really, today. And then the ability to go to St. Louis and try to win a couple of games where they're 46-19 at home. Doug Fister is getting up in the bullpen, and FP, I think you spotted something, the dugout spotted something, and things don't appear to be 100% with Steven Strasburg today.
Man, the past when he's that deliberate, something's going on. And just the tempo alone, let alone the radar gun being 92, 93 on his fastball at times. And I think that's the he's done sign from Matt Williams. And that was Steve Gober, the trainer, talking to him.
5 innings, 60 pitch, or rather 4 innings, 60 pitches. Ian Desmond walked his first time up. And now it's 3-0. All right, Ian, take it all the way down by 2 runs on 3-0. What a good series. 4 for 7, a walk, 2 solo home runs. Good take, and Ian Desmond's eye has been sharp lately. Another walk, 31 on the year. Leadoff man aboard for the 2nd straight inning. Geico President's Race today. All the guys in the home whites and everybody racing. They having a race with no gimmicks. In that scenario, here comes Cal.
Way to go, Calvin.
Wow. Been a lot of distractions in the race lately.
Ever since Dan did that, he just looked at it differently and told me how heavy those heads are, and that if you just lose your balance a little bit, you're falling forward. Yeah.
Wilson Ramos goes up hacking. He's been busting that breaking ball in on some right-handers. Not a lot of called strikes, but he has had some swings and misses in there. "25 years of age, the left-hander out of Chaska, Minnesota, right outside Minneapolis. He was a first-rounder by the Marlins 7 years ago. Ramos, slow roller up the middle. He's going to have to hurry. Echeverria turns it as Gordon got it started on a 4-6-3 double play. So the Nats' next 5, 3 of them in St. Louis. Tomorrow night, Gio and John Lackey. Tuesday night, Joe Ross and Carlos Martinez. And then Wednesday night, Max Scherzer in his hometown against Michael Wacha. Then we're right back here Thursday to open up a 4-game series against the Braves, who are really scuffling. They've lost 4 straight, and they're getting pounded by the Yankees today. So right behind John Philbin, Max Scherzer, all 3 of your starters at Busch Stadium starting tomorrow night. Danny Espinosa struck out swinging on a breaking ball, down and in first time. 2 Hopper, Echeverria. So Brad Hand gets another run from his teammates. He gets a shutdown inning, and it looks like Doug Fister will be on the mound for the Nats when we come back. A moment in history, August 30th, 2010 at the old football stadium. Ryan Zimmerman hitting one a mile, a 3-run bomb way upstairs against Miami. He had singled earlier, would walk and score later, and Ryan would have a big ball game to beat the Marlins that night, 9-3. The winning pitcher was Jason Marquis. So that was in August of 2010, and Ryan Zimmerman on this date would hit his 25th home run of the year. Well, Steven Strasburg is done. Doug Fister takes over. Strasburg 4 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 strikeouts.
A fastball, slider, curveball change. Fastball for Doug this year, averaging 86.
Suzuki, Prado, and Bohr, top 5. Ichiro Suzuki, 4 for 9 career against Doug with a couple of RBIs. He's 1 for 2 with a double today and a run scored in the series. 2 for 10. 2 Hopper, Ian Desmond. Always a good sign when Doug's getting ground balls. That's the first one. We'll see how it goes from there. For the achiever in you, PNC Bank with our minor league report. Tyler Moore, he'll be back, you would think, in St. Louis on Tuesday when rosters expand. We'll see how the Nats do it on the road or if they wait till the ball club comes back home. But he's raking 4 for his last 9. 308 rehabbing from that ankle he turned.
He's ready. Call him up.
Martin Prado, 1-for-6 career against Pfister. 2-0.
Well, Doug's definitely going to change the pace of this ball game by his quick tempo.
Three balls, one strike. Anthony Recker has driven in a run. Now the Mets lead Boston 4-2. Top of the seventh at Citi Field, getting laid up there. And that's a one-out walk to Martin Prado from Doug Pfister. We hope Steven Strasburg is not in line to rejoin this list. But the Nationals have had 23 players, and some of them more than once, go to the disabled list this year. Most in the National League. Brought to you by Jeep. Wilson Ramos keeps it close enough to keep Prado at first.
Well, you don't know what's going on with Steven. He could just be sick, drained, dehydrated.
Justin Bour 1-for-2 with a long 3-run homer. And you would expect the Nats to do what Strasburg did last time up when he struck him out. Keep the ball away from his pull zone. That might work. 4, 6, 3. Zimmerman reaching on a high throw by Ian Desmond with Prado bearing down on him, and Doug Pfister puts a badly needed 0 on the board. 5th inning. First for 20,000 fans. Nats nesting doll. Max, Bryce, Ryan, Chief, and Frank. 100 fans will find a golden ticket in their box and receive a limited edition 10-piece nesting doll. 202-675-NATS, nationals.com. Braves Nats starting Thursday. Michael A. Taylor, base hit, run scored, right field, first time up. And this one in the air, short right center. Looks like no man's land. They're playing pretty deep, and it drops in. Michael Taylor, 2 for 2.
Well, he said that look from Brad Hand. That ball was in the air for a while. And D. Gordon was hoping he could get some help from Marcell Ozuna. And I think he might have broke back on this ball. All right. Leadoff man aboard. Second hit from Michael Taylor. Scored his first time up. Steven Strasburg bunt him along. Doug Fister going to try to do the same.
Yeah, Fister with the bat this year. 7 hits, 5 sacrifice bunts. There's a long way to go in this one. The Nats are just down by 2. Fister, perfect bunt. D. Gordon got over to second base to get that from Justin Bour on the 3-4 sacrifice. Jason Worth last time hit it really well.
5th home run of the year for Jason Worth, right down the middle. Kind of where Jeff Mathis was set up, maybe a hair more inside, inch or so. Jason Worth with the fist pump, got this crowd going. Probably won't see anything to pull right here, but you never know.
Bour way off the line at first. Gordon shaded up the middle. They pinched Jason a bit toward the right center gap. Not a whole lot. Then Mercedes-Benz. Pitch number 1 right at the bottom of the zone, 86.
Change up.
Hand will step off. That's fair. Left field corner. Taylor scores easily. Worth into second base. How about the bottom of the order and then the leadoff guy today? 3rd inning, single sacrifice homer. 5th inning, single sacrifice double. And it's a 1-run game again.
Yeah, Michael Taylor doing a nice job of getting the party started here in the 5th. Doug Fister with a good bunt. Now Jason Worth gets an off-speed pitch. Looked like that slider that Hand's been throwing all day. Down and in, turns on it. Prado couldn't get it. And all of a sudden, it's a 1-run ball game.
And the Red Sox just scored in New York. Jackie Bradley Jr. driving in a run. It's 4-3 there as well. So Worth at second, tying run, 1 out. Rendon and Harper the next 2. Rendon to short. Worth thought about third base and then got back. And I'd say a wise move on the second out. Keeps him in scoring position.
Oh, he thought it was hit slow enough where he could advance, and then after a couple shuffles gets back to second base.
Well, let's see what Bryce Harper can figure out after a couple of tough at-bats.
Well, if he's thinking about left field here on that slider from Hand, he's got a chance, because I don't think Brad Hand's going to go anywhere else but the slider that he's had success with the first 2 at-bats. So take pull out of the equation. If he throws you 3 fastballs inside, tip your cap and go back to the dugout. Otherwise, think about driving the ball the other way.
That would tie the game, at least. Jeff Mathis, a block. So these are his pitching numbers as a starter. It's Brad Hand's 9th start of the year. 8 innings, 2 runs, 9 hits against the Pirates last time up. Beat the Phillies before that. 1-0 pitch outside. They are really playing Bryce deep. Any base hit to the outfield will tie this game. And that's to the inside edge. Strike one.
Like Bryce was taken all the way right there. Thinking about another slider away. He's got that ground ball to shortstop thing if he can try to do it. And we've seen him do it before. Echeverria playing right behind Jason Worth, and he's got the whole left side.
Now the Red Sox have tied that game again. Syndergaard's still in that game at the beginning of the 7th inning. 5th inning here in D.C. 4-3 Marlins. Nats trying to change that. 2-2 to Bryce. And he finally serves one to left field. This game is tied. Yeah, Bryce did figure it out, didn't he? And that's RBI number 77.
Now, usually when you're hitting 333, you do figure it out. You've made the adjustments all year, and that was a beautiful piece of hitting by Bryce Harper. Just serving it over right where we showed you. I have no idea why the Marlins didn't have somebody standing short. We've seen Bryce Harper do this a number of times. That would have been a routine line drive, one hopper to shortstop. Turns out it's a tie ball game. Base hit, RBI for Bryce Harper.
Yeah, it is puzzling at times when you see a ball club pitch a hitter a certain way, but they don't play him that way.
Right. Pitch him away all day, and they play him to pull in the infield. That doesn't make sense.
Ryan Zimmerman now with the lead run on base. So some things have changed here in the last few minutes. Red Sox have tied the Mets. The Nats have tied the Fish. Strike one to Ryan Zimmerman. 0 for 2 today. Pop up to second. Ground ball to short.
Being down 3-0 in the first, battling back to tie it at 4.
Yeah, advantage home team now, huh?
Nicely done. Not easy. I don't care who you're playing. It's not easy.
Marlins get their bullpen going with Eric Cordier. Zimmerman, right center base hit. Bryce Harper motoring to third. Ichiro up with it. And the Nats have a 4-hit inning here. And Ian Desmond has a chance to put Washington on top.
That line's moving.
Pretty good hitting approaches we're seeing right now.
Well, it's just the same thing we just saw with Bryce, though. They're pitching Ryan away with sinkers all day, right? Where's D. Gordon playing? He's playing Ryan Zimmerman to pull. He's playing him right up the middle, almost behind second base. So if you're standing where you should be standing, that's a 4-3, and Brad Hand's out of the inning. Two-seam fastballs away to Zimmerman all day, and they played him up the middle. He took advantage. Smart hitting.
Lead run, Bryce Harper at third, tied the game. And then over at first, Ryan Zimmerman, who just got his third hit of this series. Loves to hack early, especially when the other team's under pressure. Desmond up the middle. Washington's on top. Stopping at second, Ryan Zimmerman. And Ian Desmond makes it to 50 RBIs. Line moving big time, fifth inning.
Well, they're leaving Brad Hand in too long. As soon as Bryce Harper, who really wasn't seeing Hand all day, got a base hit, you're thinking, well, that's the one guy he's handled all day. If he gets a hit, you got to be done. He leaves him in to face Zimmerman, base hit. He leaves him in to face Desmond, base hit. That's two hitters too long.
That's it for Brad Hand. This call to the bullpen package by the UPS Store, your one-stop shop for all your small business needs. Let us handle your mailbox service needs. We love logistics. Brad Hand had a couple of pretty good leads today, lost them both. Now the Nats on top. Together here in the fifth inning, 5 of them, 4 singles, a double by Worth to take the lead here. And this is Eric Cordier, a former Giant who they picked up recently.
See the Arsenal, 70% fastballs, 30% off speed. And his fastball's averaging 98 miles an hour, so big fastball from the right-hander. Slider 86.
Inning doesn't get any easier now for the Marlins as Wilson Ramos steps in. 4-2 today.
I know what he was doing. Brad Hand pitched such a good game. He was trying to get him through the 5th for the win, but But, I mean, you could tell he was done.
Ramos goes up hacking. So Brad Hand 4 2/3, 8 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 80 pitches. Home run to Worth, and he's responsible for up to 2 more runs. .99, 1 ball, 1 strike. 7 games out of the bullpen for the Giants last year. Began the season on the DL with a right elbow strain. Giants released him August 1st after 22 games in Sacramento. The 1-2. Ramos on a 1-hopper, speared by the pitcher. That's it for the Nats, but a great 5th inning. They turn 5 hits into 3 runs and lead 5-4. Top of the 6th inning. Derek Dietrich, Marcell Ozuna, Adeiny Echeverria, and Doug Fister has a chance to swoop in, possibly get a W down the line. The Nats got Steven Strasburg off the hook after he had to leave the game after 60 pitches, 4 innings. And Fister goes off speed, misses 2-0. Dietrich last time up, leadoff homer, 4th inning, his 10th of the year. Off speed, he launches that ball to left center. Michael A. Taylor waiting for the carom, and that ball hit maybe a foot or 2 from being a home run. So we've seen Dietrich double off the right center field wall in this series. Homer, a bomb to right last time up, and he almost left the yard opposite field here.
Yeah, stayed back on that nice. Let it get deep, went the other way. Off the top of the wall in left center field. Michael Taylor plays it well, but Dietrich always running hard in with an easy leadoff double.
Now the Marlins have equaled the Nats hit total of 8. Here's Marcell Ozuna 0 for 2. He gets jammed. Out to short center. Danny Espinosa tracking it on the run. 1 out. Well done.
See, that's where you get older as a hitter. You have to have a pitch to be able to move the runner with. Marcell Ozuna just took a fastball down and in and tried to inside out to second base. You know, down by 1, you need something out over the plate, away, especially early in the count, to think about driving that way. He tried to take a fastball that was all over him and push it to the right side. Didn't work.
Danny Echeverria, 1 for 9 career against Doug Fister, and that one just missed hitting him.
You know, late in the count, you got a runner on second, nobody out, and you try to do what Ozuna just did right there. You're like, good job. Hey, nice try. I see you working. But early in the count, you want to get a little better pitch to move the run than that.
Yeah, that's a guy with a ton of power, too. Doug Fister gets the 3-0 pitch in there. Hot shot left side. Rendon knocks it down, freezes the runner, and gets the speedy Echeverria. Tough play, good play. 2 outs.
Boy, he stayed in front of it. That's a great lesson for all you younger players out there. What Anthony Rendon just did. Ty runs on second base, so if he takes a swat at this with his glove, who knows if he catches it? It might go into left field and you got a tie ball game, but he kind of took one for the team right there, stayed in front of it. Watch this. Wear it off your chest, bare hand. I mean, that's just textbook by Anthony Rendon. How many times have you seen guys in the big leagues try to olay that with their glove and you got a tie ball game? He kept it in front. That was nice.
Jeff Mathis. He'll hit one out to right center. Taylor able to get there, and he meets another fence.
Did you see the adjustment he made? That ball tricked him. He thought that ball was going to be about 20 feet closer to home plate than it was. He redirected, checked the fence, and made an amazing play going into it.
Well, Michael A. Taylor might have a new walk-up song that says, "Hello, Walls." Great play there. We're going bottom 6. And that is over the bag from Danny Espinosa. It'll hit in front of Ichiro and give Espinosa a leadoff double. His first hit of the day, second of the series. And the Nats offense keeps on cooking. That's hit number 9.
Well, you got to give him a lot of credit. Down 3-0, battling, fighting, tying the ball game, then taking the lead. Now Danny Espinosa with a leadoff double here in the 6th. Bat might have died a hero. I don't think he got that on the barrel, but he got just enough to get it past Justin Bour. And now we'll see if Michael Taylor could move him over as Clint Robinson moves into the on-deck circle.
This is the 6th time this year the Nats have overcome an opponent's lead of 3 runs or more. And in the previous 5 times, they went 3-2. So it's a battle-back ball club right now.
That little drag bunny does down to third base plays here. He's way up in the box, too.
Taylor swings away. High fly ball right field. Ichiro Suzuki. You can see the sun glaring in his shades. 1 out. Taylor still 2 for 3 today.
Just like we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Watch the route adjustment that Michael Taylor makes. We're going to make that catch our Miller moment. So he's going this way, then goes that way at the very end, and that ball had a little bit of carry to it. So he thought it was going to be in the gap initially, and then you see that little move to his left. That ball had some late carry. Very athletic play, made the adjustment, and there was a little peek in there before he got to the wall where he knew exactly where he is. Aaron Barrett approves. And Doug Fister definitely loves the effort by Michael A. Taylor.
And he'll be pinch hit for now by Clint Robinson. All the Nats seeing Cordier for the first time, by the way.
That Michael Taylor at bat, a lot like Marcelo Zunas. That pitch kind of tough to get to the right side and get on top of.
Robinson now this year as a pinch hitter. 5 hits, 2 RBIs. 1 out. Valuable run out there at second. Cordier, by the way, from Green Bay. He and Jordan Zimmerman both on the 2004 All-State baseball team there. Cordier beat out Jordan for Gatorade Player of the Year that year. One and 0 to Robinson. Went opposite field for a long home run here last night. And now Clint's got a good count to drive it somewhere. 2-0. Jason Worth is maybe 20 feet behind Clint Robinson, trying to get as good a look as he can at Eric Cordier. Taking 3-0. The man who warms up every day, Felipe Rivero, and Casey Jansen is up with him. Marlins have their pitcher spot due up in the 7th. Nats have their bullpen set up with the lead here, and now trying to add on.
Everyday Felipe.
3-1. Clint Robinson, high in the air. See you later. Upper deck right field. And the big man has done it again.
Turn that 99 around.
2 hits in this series. They've both been launched, and he's driven in 4 runs.
I mean, that was no 91-mile-an-hour fastball he just pulled into the upper deck. That was double nines.
Wow.
What a comeback by the Nats here today. Now 3-0. They lead 7-4.
Jason Worth had a big day with 6 total bases. Fastball up.
Watch this. Fastball 99, foot down early. Catch it out front. Square it up right on the sweet spot. Look at the balance throughout the swing, the extension. Classic left-handed home run swing.
The Nationals lead 7-4.
Reminded me of another 25 that used to play first base here.
What a good guy, and what a fantastic year for him. You might remember the last weekend of spring training, the Nats came here to play the Yankees. Clint Robinson had never even made it to the last weekend of spring training on a big league roster. And he was standing on the first base line on opening day and has become a vital part of this ball club.
I mean, didn't that side swing look like Adam LaRoche?
Yeah.
I mean, a little thicker, obviously, but same kind of follow through. 2 hands versus 1 hand, but balance throughout the swing, upper deck shot. He turns a 1-run game into a 3-run lead. When you got guys like D. Gordon that can run, that 1-run lead, you know, he gets out and steals second. Not, you know, now you got a 3-run lead. Steal all he wants.
Worth extending to stay alive.
Jason Worth with a big day today. Last 14 games, ever since they put him in the leadoff spot, he's been a different guy. 3 RBI today, 2-run homer, RBI double.
Becoming a really good at bat now, 2-2. Michael Kadire with an RBI just put the Mets on top. So they're in the top of the 8th. Looks like the Red Sox just went out and the Mets are coming up. 5-4 New York. 7-4 Washington right here. 2-2 pitch. And Worth will hit one high in the air. Short center field. D. Gordon the call. 2 outs.
All right, here's your T-Mobile fan photo. Couple of poodles, I think, with those guys.
Yeah.
Miniature poodles.
Glad they brought their masters to the ballgame.
That or their wolves, I'm not sure. Diane Byrne, thanks for your T-Mobile fan photo. It's brought to you by, yeah, you got it, T-Mobile.
Oh, I get it. Not net worth, net worth. Okay. Anthony Rendon 1 for 3. Base hit to left. That pitch stays up and in. Anthony probably thought that was high. Tried to duck his strike zone a little lower right there. '86 on the slider, strike 2.
$100.
Ball 3.
What would you rather do? Hit a ball 500 feet or throw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball?
I got to go with the swing, because a 100-mile-an-hour fastball may be ball. But I may put that back to the screen.
That's true.
I'd rather put one to an upper deck somewhere, just to see what that feels like. 3-2. Tex Masson's word of the day, drive. How appropriate is that, the way the ball's flying? To 29292, a chance to win a meet and greet with Anthony Rendon. Brought to you by Hyundai. Visit your local Washington area Hyundai dealer for the summer clearance sales event. Drive, an auto and baseball term. Rendon, there's a drive, right center. Anthony Rendon, a 2-for-4 day, 5-for-12 in this series. And the Nats have some bats warming up as this homestand wraps up and a short road trip comes up.
They're such a good fastball hitting team. I mean, if you throw 95 or above, that's what they like. They're on it. And look at this. This is 99. Anthony Rendon with a little inside-out swing. Just a beautiful piece of hitting. They don't like fastballs in the upper 80s, low 90s, but if you're mid to upper 90s, they're all over you.
And this could be the power matchup of the day right here.
Well, if he hits one, it's going to be over the scoreboard.
Bryce, a base hit going the other way for a very important RBI that tied the game last time up.
Seriously, he could hit his name on the scoreboard if he squares up one of these 100-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Took a little bit off, 98 upstairs. .86 on the slide piece. Right-hander Brian Ellington, who pitched last night, warming up. Target outside edge. Didn't get it out there. Sounded like Bryce broke his bat on a one-hopper to D. Gordon. Nats are gone in the sixth, but a huge blow by Clint Robinson, a pinch hit home run. The Nationals have 4 pinch hit home runs on the year. Clint Robinson, first time he's done it. Charcuterie, home of the Smile Back Guarantee. No small print, just big smiles. Turned into a beautiful day at the ballpark. Sun shining brightly on the Nats and on the scoreboard right now. 9 outs to get, 7-4, and Felipe Rivero gets the 7th inning call, his second appearance of this series. Miguel Rojas will be the pinch hitter for the Marlins for the right-hander Eric Cordier. Felipe had a scoreless inning and a third here. They got Gordon, Suzuki, and Prado in the 8th, and then Dietrich leading off the 9th. As the Nats held the Marlins close but couldn't come from behind 4-3. Then a bunt straight back, 1-1. Marlins box, the big blow, first inning. After Gordon and Suzuki had hits, Justin Bour a 3-run homer, and their other run leadoff style, Dietrich. High drive, right field, 4th inning. Steven Strasburg, 4 innings. The Nats got him off the hook. Doug Fister is the pitcher of record right now for the possible W. And Doug had 2 good innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 20 pitches, 10 strikes. Turns it over to Rivero here. Felipe has been busy. 31st appearance. ERA 2.81. League for 98.
Just watch his swings against Rivero. There's not too many comfy swings when he comes into a ball game ever.
Let's look at the hole at bat, brought to you by Nissan. Up the middle, Felipe couldn't get it. Danny can, and Zimmerman scoops it. Well played on both ends after the drop. Marlins looking back to their telephone in the dugout. It looked like Zimmerman stayed on the bag and made a fantastic scoop on that. 1 out.
They're not going to look at it. Let's check it out again. Nice job of staying with it by Danny Espinosa. You see the spin on the ball. It spun away from him. And then Ryan Zimmerman with a great pick. And they just get him at first.
Gordon and Suzuki.
See that ball spin away from Danny? Had so much English on it. Once it hit his glove, it just spun away, and that's where he had to reach out further than he thought he had to.
I tell you, Ryan Zimmerman, if he can stay on the field for a whole season in the next couple of years, he's going to win a Gold Glove at first base, I believe. I think he's as good as anybody with the glove right now. Takes a while to build a reputation at a certain position. But I mean, right now he's everything you would look for defensively in a first baseman.
I think if he learns the position more and when to go to balls to his right, and when to let the second baseman have him, when, you know, how to come off the base, some plays where you either go to home or stay. I mean, there's a lot of little intricacies that once he learns, I think you're right. But there's still a process and a curve when you move from third to first. about learning all those things and being comfortable and just doing them and not thinking about them. When you go to a new position, you have to think a lot. You're thinking, okay, if the ball's hit here, I have to be here. If the ball's hit there, I have to be there. When you play that position a long time, you just react and you're always in the right spot. You don't have to think about it.
0-2. And Rivero trying to overpower D. Gordon. So Bryce is 1 for 4 today. D. Gordon is 1 for 3. Ryan oiling up that first baseman's mitt pocket. Looking so comfortable over there. And then Bryce and this guy battling for a league leading batting average and a title eventually. That was a check swing. Sounded like it hit the bat, but then it fell out of Ramos' mitt.
Yeah, if Wilson hangs on, that's strike 3. We gotta look at that. I don't know what there is to look at. I guess if he didn't foul it off, did he go? I mean, there's nothing to challenge there.
Sure sounded like a foul tip. No balls, 2 strikes. Rivero has him reaching. Desmond knows he doesn't have a lot of time, and he gets D. Gordon by a step. Not exactly a routine ground ball right there. Today, USAA honors all of our service members here at home and abroad. It's our USAA salute to the military. Here's Ichiro. Ball 1 away. Mets did not score in the bottom of the 8th, so the Red Sox are trying to come from behind again in a 5-4 ball game.
Well, Tyler Clippard doing us no favors.
Right side, Danny Espinosa to his left. Look at how he squares himself up. To answer your question, Tyler Clippard, a scoreless inning and a 3rd. So they're down to the wire in New York. And the Nats right now playing some championship caliber baseball on both sides. What an inning for Danny Espinosa. It gets us to our Hyundai 7th inning stretch. Nationals 7, Marlins 4. Yes, sir, the Commander Jacques going by. To Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals.
Check out a game summary. 7-4 Nationals. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Steven Strasburg, just 4 innings, gave up 4 earned runs on 7 hits through 60 pitches and was taken out of the game. It looked like there might have been something wrong. We don't know for sure, and I'm sure you'll find out after the game. Jason Worth 2 for 4, a 2-run homer. But how about the 5th inning? The line was moving. Michael Taylor led off with a base hit. Doug Fister with a sac bunt. Then Jason Worth was his 3rd RBI of the day, a double down the left field corner. Bryce Harper with 2 strikes going the other way. Nice piece of hitting. And Ian Desmond with a big 2-out knock to put his ball club ahead 5-4 and light this ballpark up. So it started out kind of calm and quiet at Nats Park today and turned into a frenzy with that 5th inning.
Yeah, what a great comeback by the guys. Brian Ellington appeared for a scoreless 7th inning last night. He got Espinosa, Dendecker, walked Worth, struck out Rendon. 2nd appearance of this series. Marlins, a lot of young guys in their bullpen. Steve Cishek traded to St. Louis. A.J. Ramos became their closer. Saw him Friday night. But the Nats have stayed away from him the last 2 days. And there's Drew Storen. This game obviously still a save scenario. So Drew for the 8th, Papelbon for the 9th. The offense could change that with another run or 2 here. Here's Ryan Zimmerman, base hit to right field. Last time up. And he got Bryce Harper to 3rd, so Bryce could score on that Desmond go-ahead hit before the Clint Robinson 2-run pinch homer in the 6th inning. So the Nats box, and I think right now the big blow of this game is Jason Worth. 3rd inning, the 1-out 2-run homer. They got the Nats off the zeros and got that offense going. Since then, all the guys up and down the lineup have really picked it up. Kind of quiet afternoon until that swing by Jason.
Big fan of Bryce Harper's hit to shortstop.
Absolutely.
After Brad Hand had really kind of owned him today with nasty sliders all day. He went to that slider again, and Bryce did a nice job of just serving it to left field and keeping the line moving in the 5th.
Yeah, that tied the game.
Somebody less competitive would say, this guy's got my number. He owns me today. I'll get him tomorrow.
Zimmerman continues to punish the baseball, and that's about 5 or 6 feet foul. He is so locked in right now.
First and second, nobody out. Up in Citi Field.
That's right.
Red Sox in business, the 9th.
Familia in that game right now. Two and two. Ryan in this series 3 for 10, a homer, 2 RBIs. He's got that RBI streak going. So 11 RBIs in his last 6 games.
He's on everything.
Going to try to jam him here.
Wow, that's quick. All the moving parts on time. With the hands kind of cocked back toward the pitcher, how he drops the hands and has the leg kick all at the same time. When all those parts are working together, look out.
They're trying to find every quadrant to get this guy out. 2-2 pitch. Then evidently a swing. Borderline pitch near the outside corner. Zimmerman gone. 1 out, 7th inning. Follow the Nats wherever you are. MLB.com at bat. #1 app for live baseball. Up to the moment, at any moment. In-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. Ian Desmond, a perfect day getting on base. 2 walks and a go-ahead RBI in the 5th inning, his 50th of the year. This is our top of the hour, 4 p.m. reset. BCFP. DK will rejoin us in St. Louis. And the Nats have battled back from a 3-0 deficit, a 4-2 deficit to lead 7-4. At the All-Star break, Ian Desmond had 24 runs batted in. And he's now at 50 a month and a half later.
If he ever figures that April thing out, he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
3-0. The more disciplined Ian Desmond's been taking some 3-0 pitches. In this series, he's 5 for 8. 2 homers, 2 walks.
Just calmed everything down. We talked a lot about Bryce Harper this year, calming everything down. Ian Desmond was very swing mode all season long. Almost like he was designating, I'm swinging and I hope you hit my barrel. And it's been the opposite the last month or so, where he's getting good pitches. His head still, he's widened his base in his stance. He's seeing the baseball, making life a lot easier and being able to use all that ability and not fight it. Third walk of the day for Ian Desmond. How many times have you said that, Bob?
About as many times as you just said it. How about that? These boots are made for walking, indeed.
Perfect day on base 4 times. The base hit. The go-ahead RBI. Have a day, Ian Desmond.
There's Wilson. Ramos trying to get that salvage. 0 for 3 today. Nothing changing in New York just yet. 1 out. Runners still at first and second. (5-4) Mets.
Ian Desmond has walked 3 times. One other time, it was 2011.
Okay, that was our first year together. That's the last time I said it.
That's right.
Isn't that crazy?
I did hear you say it.
And Vin Scully got to call those 3 walks. We were at Dodger Stadium that night.
So his last year? Next year?
Yeah, Vin just announced that in addition to coming back next year, it will be his final year. At least that's what he's planning. That's until 10 million people beg him to stay. Wilson Ramos, he does get that first hit of the day. And Ian Desmond can cruise over to third. So Ramos gets an 8-game hitting streak on possibly his last at bat today. 10 for his last 29. It's remarkable, FP, the damage our right-handed hitters are doing without pulling the ball that much.
Yeah, fastball up and in, inside-out swing. Hands in the right slot, going the other way. Now Danny Espinosa has a chance to make it a 4-run lead or more. Getting back to that Vin thing. If he's up for it, I think he should travel.
The last year?
Yeah.
I did see a quote from him, though. He said he doesn't want the big farewell tour and all that. You know, and that's Vin Scully being Vin.
Well, that's why
I kind of like that.
I mean, I think he should let fans say goodbye to him.
Yeah.
That's why I think he should travel to. He just travels in the West, right? Or does he even do that?
He only goes to San Francisco now. Doesn't even go San Diego or Arizona anymore.
Yeah, that'd be a lot, I guess, but it'd be neat for fans to have a farewell tour, I think.
Danny Espinosa, double last time. Nats trying to bust this thing wide open and get it beyond save range. Espinosa out ahead of that breaking ball. Now in New York, it's first and third, 2 outs. 5-4 Mets.
Come on, Mookie Betts.
Yeah, Mookie robbed Bryce of a homer back at Fenway. He could at least do Washington a favor.
He owes the Nats. Let's go.
No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Looks like Mathis wants the pitch up. It was outside. Espinosa up the middle. And a 4-6-3 double play. So a double play puts an end to the 7th. Nats still have that 3-run lead. Drew Storn is next. Go. And in his career against the Cardinals, he's 2-1 with an 0.93 ERA. John Lackey gets the call for St. Louis. Came over to trade last year down the stretch, and this year he's 11-8 with a 2.92. Got a no decision here April 22nd when Washington got 5 runs off him in 5 2/3. Beautiful Nationals Park. It's 7-4. Top of the 8th coming up. And the Nats, not a lot of strikeouts today. 3 by Steven Strasburg, and that's okay. But that's 37 times 3 to the Children's Inn at the National Institutes of Health, thanks to our Washington area Toyota dealers and their Toyota Case for Kids. Here's Drew Storn.
That mid-90s fastball, slider, changeup. 52nd appearance for Drew. 60 strikeouts versus just 11 walks. Righty's hitting 131 against Drew Storm.
Martin Prado, 0 for 8 career against Drew. And the fastball just stays up and in. Wilson Ramos a little double take before he threw the ball back. And then he made a half turn. I think he thought Dale Scott should have called that a strike. But it's been the outside edge all day today. The sinker low, 2-0. So the Mets held on to win 5-4 against the Red Sox, salvaging a game of that 3-game series. And they're now 72-58, 6 up on the Nats. Washington has to hold on here to get it back to 5.5. Eichhoff and Cologne in New York tomorrow night. Phillies open a series there. How to play right side.
So the Mets play the Phillies, and the Nats play the Cardinals.
It's going to be a challenging 3 days.
They take care of business.
Gio, and then Joe Ross Tuesday night. Max Scherzer Wednesday. Front door slider. That's going to ring him up. Prado stepped out. So did the umpire. And Martin Prado is not happy.
Oh, you see him get out of the way of this pitch, first of all. And did it come back very similar to the first strike that Drew wanted? The first pitch that Drew wanted. A little bit lower. He gets a call.
Martin Prado ends up 3 for 11 in this series. We hope ends up. And Justin Bour is next. He's 3 for 4 career against Drew. All singles. Only 2 for 10 in the series, but he's done 2 home runs and 4 RBIs worth of damage. Up the middle, Espinosa to his right, able to get behind the ball because he's so quick. 2 outs.
That's when the last second baseman with backhand. Danny Espinosa got in front of it so he could make a stronger throw. Nice play. And the exchange, too, was quick. Watch the exchange from glove to hand. First of all, you got to be ready for the baseball to make this play. Look at the jump he gets. Gets in front of it to the bare hand. Nice play.
2 outs in the 8th. Derek Dietrich, 0 for 1 career against Drew Storm.
What you said about Ryan Zimmerman earlier, if Danny Espinosa ever plays shortstop or second every day, he will win a Gold Glove.
Agreed.
I don't think that's a stretch at all.
Not at all. He's made 3 errors all year, shuttling all over the field.
A couple of them, at least one, were questionable in my mind. I remember. He was at third base.
Target on the outside edge from Wilson Ramos. just outside the bag. Drew's 52nd appearance.
Yeah, those guys, the last pitch were putting their arms in the air like they want the crowd to get into it with 2 strikes and 2 outs. Clint Robinson in the middle had both hands up, like, get up and cheer.
Yeah, he's into it. He's made another big contribution today. 1-2 pitch. Laced to right, and Bryce Harper right there. Drew Storen, the league's now hitting about .215 against him this year. A 1-2-3-8. Clint likes it, so do his teammates. 7-4. First pitch, bottom of the 8th. The breaking ball from Brian Ellington stays up and in on Michael A. Taylor's had a really good day. 2 for 3. Sparkling play in the outfield. Matt Dendecker will bat for Drew Storen. It's all lined up for the Nats to have a 6-3 homestand. Way inside, 2-0.
Got to keep grinding, kind of keep winning series. And then run into a sweep here or there and be within striking distance when you play the Mets.
Yep. By the way, there's no activity in the bullpen. Jonathan Papelbon did pitch last night. He's walking around out there. It might take him only a hitter or 2 to get ready, but he has pitched in 2 of the last 3 games. That ball slammed off of Jeff Mathis on the foul ball by Taylor. Now Papelbon's walking up the hill to the mound out there. If the score stays the same, he'll be in line for his 5th save as a Nat. Ellington staying off speed, up and into Michael A. Taylor, 3-2. Busted bat, and it won't carry far enough to get over D. Gordon's glove. 2 for 4 day for Taylor. Celebrate the end of an amazing summer down at the Fitz in Woodbridge. The Peanuts playing their last home games of the year. It'll all get underway on Tuesday, go through Monday. $1 tickets Monday, September 7th, Labor Day. For all your ticket and promo info, PotomacNationals.com. Here's Matt Dendecker, who's 1 for 2 in the series with a pinch hit.
New leg kick, Matt Dendecker. I like it. So he's using his legs more. He's got some pop. He was more foot down early guy, meaning he just set that foot down and wait a little bit. But now he's gone to a leg kick. Hands are a little bit lower. Looks comfy.
Taking some really good rips since he came back about a week ago. High 90s, up and away. Dendecker 3 for 8 as a pinch hitter this year with a home run, 2 RBIs.
Good take. Strong numbers. Not easy.
Kind of interesting when you think about some of the best pinch hitters in recent memories. A lot of them are left-handed hitters. Ross Glode, really good for a number of years. Lenny Harris. Mark Sweeney, who was here as a broadcaster with San Diego the other day. I know there's one I'm missing from recent years. Of course, your buddy, Matt Stairs.
Yeah.
See a lot of right-handed power pitchers late in the game. And look what Matt does with that. He can fly. He's into second base. And how about Matt Dendecker now? 4 for 9 as a pinch hitter with the Nats this year. I think Greg Dobbs was the other I was trying to think of.
You see the leg kick, getting the foot down, going with the pitch. Perfect swing by Matt Dendecker. Only problem is when you're a good pinch hitter, you're a good pinch hitter. And a manager will save you. Guys used to joke, hey, don't get a pinch hitter, else you'll be a pinch hitter. He's done a pretty good job.
And there's a guy who gave us a little pop, a lot of pop with a pinch hit today. Runner at second, 1 out. Worth and Rendon the next 2.
Go back to the 3rd inning. Little Worthquake got this place rocking. 2-run homer, his 5th of the year. And right when it looked like Brad Hand wasn't going to give you anything to pull as a right-hander, he left one down the middle for Jason Worth.
Jason takes the fastball up and away, 1-1 from Brian Ellington. Nats trying to win their 66th game of the year and go 3 over 500. And that's on the edge. 1 ball, 2 strikes. In the dirt, good secondary lead by Dendecker, but Jeff Mathis kept it close. Kyle Barraclough. Two balls, 2 strikes with 1 out.
I often wondered as a player when it was a 3-run lead if my closer in the bullpen was rooting for me to make an out with a runner on second or third.
You have posed that question before, and I still don't have an answer for you. But it's an interesting one.
I used to ask Rob Nett all the time, were you rooting against me up there so you get a save?
You know, Papelbon, as outspoken as he is, he makes no mistakes about the fact that he wants saves.
Yeah, I might have to ask him.
Good luck with that answer. Way inside. He did say the day the Nats brought him in Miami, he had run into Mariano Rivera at the All-Star game and said, "I'm coming after you."
That's great.
Well, you got a few more, Jonathan, a few more hundred, but good luck on that. But he says what he thinks, and pretty refreshing, actually.
Yeah, he's been a good teammate. Guys will tell you.
Three-two with 1 out. And Jason, with every swing, gets a few more hungry for runs wolves howling in the stands. I heard someone he was on deck.
I'm telling you, we got to get the whole ballpark doing it. It would just be pure insanity. I'd love it.
Well, maybe there'll be a game here on October 31st.
All right, I'm in.
Three balls, 2 strikes, again with 1 out. Created bad by Jason Worth. Hangs around for a while, and then when he's sure it's a walk, he goes to first. 2 on, 1 out. On base for the 3rd time today, and for the 5th time in the series.
Sir Lawrence at leadoff. As it stands right now, with just a few of the fans doing the wolf thing, it just sounds like a sick wolf, like it's laying on its side. It's wounded.
Yeah.
But maybe if more people get into it, it'll actually sound like a healthy wolf.
Sounds to me like you're trying to start a movement here.
I am. They'd be awesome.
Ellington gone, and deeper into the Miami bullpen go the Nats. Anthony Rendon's had a good day. 2 for 4. He'll be back in a moment. Tony and the Wolf. by Night Point Systems. They offer the technology you need when you need it. It's all about the Curly W. Mets have won their ball game today. The Nats have to do it to stay 5.5 back. Heading into St. Louis for a tough 3-game series. Anthony Rendon will take on Kyle Barraclough here. Second appearance of this series.
Barraclough, good fastball, upper 90s, slider to go with it. 10th appearance. Opponent's at 118 against the Marlins right-hander.
And he might have cost the Nats the series sweep when he got his hand on that bouncer by Wilson Ramos the other night, deflecting the ball over to D. Gordon to end a 6th inning that already had a run in and ended up stranding 3 in a 1-run loss. Anthony Rendon facing him for the first time. .95 sizzling to the outside edge. Look at the Nats, way over 500 with runners in scoring position. Marlins have had their chances. And Rendon will take that slider in the dirt. And out at third is Matt Dendecker. Jeff Mathis bouncing up and going 2-5 to throw out a fast runner.
I don't think Dendecker thinks he's out. And Matt Williams held an arm up in the dugout, and they're going to take a look at it, and we'll take a look at it together.
Well, that's close.
That's close.
And the Nats going to call it off.
Yeah, I think they got him on the arm before his hand hit. Yeah. It's a good gamble up by 3. I like it.
Sure.
1 out. Playing hard.
The count's 2-2 to Anthony Rendon with Bryce Harper on deck. And that is it for the bottom of the 8th. It's up to Jonathan Papelbon now. The Nats 7-4, looking for a 4th straight series win. Miami 13-8 today. Both teams have played clean baseball defensively. And if the Nats can hold on to this, They'll take 6 of their last 9 on to St. Louis, where Gio Gonzalez goes against John Lackey. So the tail of the tape right there. St. Louis is throwing 3 pitchers at the Nats who have ERAs of 2.92, 2.91, and 2.69. As Carlos Martinez and Michael Wacha follow John Lackey. Matt Dendecker, outstanding outfielder, gives Jason Worth a breather for the rest of this one. So the pitcher hitting first, and that would be, we hope he doesn't hit, Jonathan Papelbon.
Oh, fastball 91, slider 80, split 86.
Saved the ball game Thursday night. 4-2 win over San Diego for his 4th Nats save. He faces Marcell Ozuna here and gets ahead. Papelbon closed out the 5-1 win last night. He got Ozuna on a bouncing ball to Rendon to end the game. Front door breaking ball, 0-2.
Seems like in the past when he goes to that split, it's his out pitch when there's runners out there, when he really has to get out of trouble. That's his go-to. Fastball, slider, righties, but he'll throw that split. And it's a nasty one.
He went with the 4-seamer and got it by him. Power fastball by Papelbon, 1 out.
And I think he's a closer you could turn the gun off of. Seriously, I mean, you see 91, but it's not playing 91. He's throwing fastballs by people the short time we've seen him.
Yeah.
You talk about how late he stays closed and how that arm just comes out of nowhere, and so does the ball. Watch how late Ozuna is, and he's shown us that he can hit a fastball in the series.
Echeverria 2 for 3 today. 3 for 11 career against Papelbon, who misses this time. A ball driven to right center. Bryce Harper after it. He's there. The sun got him, and it glances off his glove. At this time of the afternoon at 4:38, Bryce was looking right squarely into it.
And that's setting behind the third base dugout, and it gets right in at the very end. You see him kind of shy away. Man, how'd they score that? Double?
Yeah, they've got 9 hits up on the board, so that's a 2-base hit.
Look at his glasses. That's how you can tell the sun right in his glasses.
Here's Jeff Mathis. Well, he was scheduled to hit. JT Realmuto will hit for him, catcher for catcher. So Dan Jennings going for it here in the 9th inning because he's got Christian Yelich on deck, a left-handed hitter who the Nats haven't seen in this series. Realmuto is 1 for 2 career against Papelbon with a home run. On the hands. Long run for the third baseman, shortstop, and left fielder. Eddie and Desmond is there to grab it. Guys scurrying for third to keep Echeverria from moving over. 2 outs.
Jonathan Papelbon covering third was priceless right here. Watch him. Nobody's covering third. And look at the reaction as he's running over. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. And then he just stares down. Echeverria at second base. I just love this guy's mannerisms. The more you watch him, the more you like him.
He wanted a 6-1 double play to end the game.
Well, he's into it. I like it.
So here's Christian Yelich, who's been bothered by knee and ankle problems. He's 2 for 5 career against Papelbon with an RBI. Good crowd today, 34,480. And Yelich will drive one to right, and it's in front of Bryce Harper. He'll wing it home, and that'll freeze the runner at third. Echeverria didn't want to get thrown out at home for the last out of the game, and that gets the tying run in the batter's box. 2 hits in the inning. And D. Gordon gets another chance for a hit.
Christian Yelich has a sweet swing.
Yeah, they're going to run for him because he just really can't move around at all. And it's probably Cole Gillespie over there running. Oh, it's going to be one of their pitchers.
That's a good hold by Lenny Harris at third for the Marlins. You don't want to get anybody thrown out third out at home when you're down by 2. That run doesn't mean a thing.
Pitcher Justin Nicolino pinch running for Christian Yelich. D. Gordon. Bouncer up the middle. Desmond is there to the bag with the series win for the Nats again.
It's a good homestand for the Nats. 6-3 on the homestand. Now they got to figure it out on the road against a tough Cardinals team. But that's all you got to do is win some series, and they're playing good baseball.
The Nats continue to play well. Another clean game today. Papelbon's 5th save. Doug Fister gets the win. Zimmerman comes up big, and Worth.